So we're here at McMullen Park with a new Bedford Ladies manager, Charlie Bill. Charlie, welcome to McMullen Park. How have you been settling in so far?
It's been incredibly exciting, to be fair. Yes, it was a long time coming. I had a lot of conversations with Peter, the owner, and then the groundwork finally started a few weeks ago. So we're kind of in the bulk of pre-season. We're down here tonight, third week it is. So just can't wait to get started. What we're building and to show the home fans this Sunday, and then a few more friendlies to go before having that first competitive game at home. So yeah, really can't wait to get going.
So what attracted you to the project down here at McMullen Park? Obviously experience in step 3, coming down a step. What was the attraction for Royal Bedford for you?
I think firstly it was the ambition. Clearly they were a club that was successful last year. They wanted to grow once again. They weren't just happy going up and staying. They wanted to go and compete the top end. So that was clearly one thing. But then it was a club that really cared. It's a hard working club, people in the background, and we wanted to make it exciting. We wanted to bring an exciting brand of football, and the more conversations me and Peter had, it just seemed like we aligned with our thought processes. And then I obviously was at MK previously and was there 8 years, and it felt like a bit of a project. And I felt like here, going up into Tier 4, going into the Women's National League, it felt like a real start of a project here, which is something I wanted to start and want to hopefully carry on for years to match the ambition of what the club wants. So that's what ultimately drew me here. Yeah,
sure. So you spoke there about wanting to compete at the top end again. There's some difficult teams in this division, as you know, Chatham, London Bees, Norwich. Competing at the top end, how big a challenge is that going to be for the squad and for you?
It's going to be a massive challenge. We've only one going up, the winner getting promoted. We've done our research. We know what it looks like in the last few years in terms of probably only losing 1 or 2 games. We've looked at stats in terms of the team that have been second the last 3 years, have then the year after gone and won it. So you're looking at Norwich and know they're going to be highly competitive. Obviously at MK we played London Bees and Chatham and know the quality they have, but I believe we're building something here that can really go and be competitive and really push on to the top of the league. And not just saying that, I think the players can see that themselves. So it's something that we have that ambition, but I truly believe that we can match it. It's just making sure that we get these next few weeks right, so come first day of the season we are ready to go and push on, because competing for a league title, you can't really have your off dates, especially when only one go up and that's the winner. So every 3 points is so huge and important, but it's something we're so excited for, and hopefully we can be on that challenge the whole way.
They were speaking to Rob. He didn't like the fact that only the champions went up. He seems to think that 2 should automatically go up. Are you similar sort of thing? Does that make your job as manager more difficult in that you've got to be champions to go up automatically? What are your thoughts generally on the non-league promotion and relegation system? Too harsh, do you think?
I think so, definitely. I think with it is sometimes it stops growth and ambition of clubs like ourselves at Royal Bedford, because you can almost put resource into it for 2-3 years and ultimately get so close, but then that doesn't seem as progression in terms of the eyes of the league with only one going up. There's clubs in other leagues that potentially could be helped by getting relegation ultimately to try and almost rebuild, and I think sometimes because of the lack of promotion and relegation it does impact those hard working clubs. I talked about Norwich, even QPR this year. I think they're kind of going to a real kind of part-time model, and then we've got Fulham here on Sunday, and they're really building, and they're only still Tier 5. They just felt short, so again their journey's been stagnated a little bit. So I think the growth of the women's game across the last 2-3 years, hopefully in the next couple of years, I think these leagues can get stronger, because I think if you added 4 more teams, we played Dartford on Sunday, who finished second, really competitive game, and I have no doubt Sunday will be as well. So I think if you grow those leagues, I think the competition will only get better and stronger.
Yeah, sure. So building a new squad, there's been a host of new signings. There seems to be one every few days at the moment. You bought a lot of names from MK Dons. I think I counted 6. I might be wrong. What do they bring to McMullen Park? Is it more about experience and character, or experience at a higher level? What the players that you know, the Trisha Golds, etc. What do they bring in terms of talent and character for you?
Yeah, I think for us it was, you need to get the right mix within the group and the squad. We had younger players involved, and they will still be and come through the pathway at Royal Bedford, but also we needed to match up with a little bit of experience. You looked at or spoke about a player like Trisha Gold, who has played full time in the Championship for London Bees. So it's really important for us to get that right mix. But also, when it's a new project, often we feel like that might be 2 or 3 years in the making if we're bringing complete new players. I think for us it was a case of with current players that I've worked with, I know their characters, they know how we want to play, they know our philosophy, so you're not having to do too much groundwork on the pitch because they already know that, and then you bring in those players from other areas which have shown interest, and again it increased the quality. Players like Amber Gaylor, who has played again top level, a championship footballer. We feel that we have the right mix here currently, and it's going to be, like I said, hopefully a really competitive squad, because again that's what you need to be able to push each other.
I don't know if you crossed paths with Zara Cowell on the way out, the departing women's captain. Do you have a name in mind for who the new club captain will be for the women's side, or is it discussion still going on? Still
ongoing. Obviously Zara done a lot for this. I've known Zara through coaching and her footballing days, so it's going to be big shoes to fill, definitely, and for us it's making sure we get that right. So we're definitely having those discussions. It'll probably be a week or two away once the squad's fully settled. We've obviously had kind of new players, some trialists we've looked at, so it's now about building that, and that's probably one of the biggest things that's in our forefront.
Well, Charlie Bill, the manager, obviously you're still a young man. You've been doing it for a long time, said 8 years at MK Dons. What attracted you to coaching as such a young man in your early 20s over playing? Was it just tactical side of it? Were you a good player at all? Maybe that sometimes that could be the case. What attracted you to management so young?
I mean, I played and I got to 16, 17, and I actually started a coaching apprenticeship with at MK Dons set. So I started there, and I don't know, I just felt as soon as I got coaching and I got the love for it. So very quickly, the kind of balance between playing or coaching, I found myself just wanting to go out there and coach, and then I started with a local girls grassroots side at under 8s, and again before I went to MK took them kind of for 5-6 years and took them all the way through, and I don't know, I just started coaching the female game. I enjoyed what I was doing, and I just found it as a real love and passion, so kind of never looked back. I kind of just went with it kind of wholeheartedly. When I did get offered the manager's role at MK for Tier 3, I felt I was incredibly young. I probably felt I wasn't ready at the time, but again, looking back, I felt if I didn't take the opportunity, I probably wouldn't have gone on that journey and been sat here today. So I took it, and it was a risk that thankfully has paid off, and now I feel like from those experiences I'm in a much better position to hopefully guide this football club to success, if in the next 12 months, if not kind of slightly longer.
So what's the Charlie Bill philosophy? There were a lot of goals down here last year for the ladies team. Is that more is it going to be more of the same? Are you attack minded? What's the Charlie Bill style of play?
Yeah, no, definitely. We obviously we've had a couple of away games, and we've had some spectators come down and watch, and straight away they were kind of in awe in terms of the quality of our team in possession. We will look to retain the ball. It's good having a fantastic service out at home, because I think we need to be good on the ball. We need to be attack minded, because again, kind of the last 2-3 years, because only one goes up, I think league titles have been won on goal difference, so you can't kind of rest in games. We need to be front footed, but also I think we need to be adaptable, because there are going to be some grounds we go to where the services aren't going to be as good, where it's going to be more difficult to play, tighter pitches. So we're certainly a side that we'll approach it on a game-to-game basis, but our overall philosophy is we want to build an exciting brand, and ultimately I say to the players often that they need to be role models, and I think if we've got young girls coming to watch here, they want to watch exciting football games, they want to watch football games with goals involved, so that's certainly what hopefully will come and show here.
You talk about role models. I mean, the women's obviously Euros 2022 plays a massive part in participation and things like that. Since you started out at Dons 8 years ago, there's obviously been a noticeable change, but how has the quality and the participation of the women's game in general grown for you? Does your job become easier in that you've got a bigger pool to look for? I mean, all the positives of the women's game. Speak a bit about how much that's changed in the last 8 years. Since you started, at least. I
think firstly I highlighted there in terms of having those role models, because I think young females see it as a career now. There's full-time environments from 16. You've got the pro game academies, which then feed into a 21s program, and there's a lot more contact time for female footballers. Obviously the averages attendances are growing. You see a lot more games played at the Emirates, played at Stamford Bridge, played at Old Trafford, and even on Sky every week you put it on, and there's an evening game, there's a lunchtime game, and I think the more that come and watch, the more that see that journey, we will often, or I've certainly worked on a model where we give a lot of players of a young age, 16, 17, their debuts, and they've gone and flourished. So I think now they can see that pathway, and now there's careers involved, and there is much more money, or so much more money in the female game, but it's been spread in the right ways, and like I said, I think in 5 years' time, even where Tier 3 is, I think that could evolve into kind of a part-time and full-time league. You've seen Nottingham Forest have recently gone full-time. You saw Newcastle won Tier 3, they were full-time. So I generally think we look probably back from here in 5 years' time, and it will be kind of the top 3 leagues hopefully all being full-time. So I think it's certainly exciting to kind of go on that journey where it was 8 years ago, where there wasn't a lot of kind of necessarily quality, there weren't many leagues. Sure. You turn up and maybe an odd few people would come and watch games. So I think that the journey has gone on. It's just important that we don't stop now and we carry on.
Yeah, I mean, down here the youth sides had great success down here, under 13s, under 15s. Have you had much chance to link up with Bedford Ladies and Girls, with Jill Upton maybe, to try and work on a pathway? Does that pathway exist? Have you had much chance yet to be able to forge those links and maybe give some of the youngsters some chances to come down and train maybe with the ladies, or is there a plan in place or a plan coming to help the young girls of Bedford come through the ranks here at Welland Park?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, very early on, I think it was week 1 before the pre-season even started, I had a meeting obviously with Jill. Zara was involved, Jenny the secretary, Bex, that they do a lot of hard work in the youth setup. So that's one of my ambitions. At MK we didn't really have a pathway necessarily. We had an RTC, but we didn't have a development squad. It was an under 23s we moulded it into, and that's really important for me in terms of those girls and female players seeing that there's a pathway. So look, it's pre-season, this first 3-4 weeks can take a lot of your time, but I think one of the biggest conversations was the reason why I want to make this a project is because I want to build those relationships, so come a year, 2 years time, we're in a much better position, and if we get success in the first team on the pitch, that means 14, 15 year olds, 13 year olds, hopefully we're not losing them to necessarily professional club setups like your Tottenhams, your Arsenals, your Chelseas. We can keep them in Real Bedford, and we can keep the talent in Bedford, and hopefully they can see that pathway, and ideally you want one to come through from 7-8 to actually make a senior appearance, and that might be a long time away in terms of looking right now, but I definitely the work that Jill does and the hard work, we want to match up and make sure that they can see that pathway clearly.
Yeah, hopefully it's the early days of a fledgling partnership between you, and hopefully we can get a lot more Bedford girls coming through the ranks here at Welland Park. Is it about getting miles in legs at this point? Do results really matter for you? Some managers say it's more about time on the pitch, more look at results. Is it more miles and legs and trying to nail down some tactics for you? Is that how pre-season is for you?
Yeah, certainly for us really early on it's about getting minutes in legs. The first couple we've taken bigger squads, 20, 22 players, so they're managed with their minutes, 45, and a few of them went up to 60 the weekend. So that's really key for us to make sure we don't overload them early on, because then you can pick up niggles, injuries, which then can impact you for the start of the season. And then ultimately what we want to do is then ramp it up. We obviously go through a spell where we've got hashtag Watford and AFC Wimbledon. All 3 of them will probably be, I imagine, within the top 6 of Tier 3 next year. So we know that's going to be a real competitive side of that 7 days. But what was key for us is making sure that if we play those levels of teams, we feel in terms of physically, if we can match them, we're in a really good position. So yeah, probably from this week and moving on, we'll kind of go slightly smaller squads. Minutes will start to ramp up and manage them. And what we said in terms of, look, winning games of football is nice. We're not outcome driven just as of yet. I imagine the closer we get towards the end of pre-season, although we've got kind of those tougher games, there will be kind of some sort of outcome bias on it. If that goes kind of 15-10 to go and we're winning the game, they are great pitches to go, right, can we relate to those pitches for when the season starts? So yeah, it's been a really good start, and hopefully, like I said, back at home kind of Sunday, that's what one we're all really excited for.
Yeah, sure. It'll soon be the competitive stuff, so wish you all the best from Welland Park here. Welcome, and I hope you have a successful season. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Tom.